Now, your typical textbook will then segue into types of unemployment. Again, these are very standard definitions in economics. Some of them are useful, some are not particularly useful. There's typically 3 or 4 definitions that you'll see in every single economics textbook about types of unemployment. What the textbooks mean by types of unemployment is basically, the answer to the question, why are you unemployed right now? The type of answer that you'd give to that question would say what sort of unemployment you have. So we're thinking about reasons why people might be unemployed. And I guess these types of unemployment, these categories matter because we have different levels of concern for these people. Some of these types of unemployment are a social injustice. Some of these types of unemployment are something we don't really want to fix. So I'll explain what that all means. So the 4 types are frictional, cyclical, structural, and seasonal. And the names themselves reveal a little bit about what they are. Okay, so the first one is frictional. So a person who's frictionally unemployed, right? Friction, think is, what happens when you're rubbing one thing against another. Friction is what happens, brings a car to a halt when you put the brakes on. It's a friction between the rubber in the tires and the road. So friction is what happens when 2 things go up against each other. When we're thinking about frictional unemployment, we're thinking about movement, we're thinking about people changing jobs. So a person who's frictionally unemployed is unemployed because they're currently looking for a job. Typically, they're looking for a better job. They might have a job at, say, Burger King that they could take right now, or Eagle Boys. Walk down the road, get a job at Eagle Boys. The question is, you're not looking for a job at Eagle Boys, you're a qualified chemist, and you're looking for a job in a chemistry lab. So you're searching for a better job. Or you may say have moved. You might have moved from Bathurst to Sydney. You don't currently have a job. You're looking for a good job in Sydney. That's frictionally unemployed. Typically, these sorts of people aren't unemployed for very long, right? They're just looking. They may, in fact, already have spotted some jobs that they could take, but they're looking for a better job. Maybe they want one in a different area. Maybe they want one in a different suburb. Maybe they want one at better pay. So they're going to keep looking until they find something that's more agreeable. Right? This is normally the largest category of unemployed. There's an awful lot of people all the time who are moving. Your spouse may have a better job offer, and you move with your spouse. You're unemployed in the new area, looking for a new job. You may get sick of Albury and move down to Melbourne. It happens. In which case, you would be frictionally unemployed. Because you've moved from one place to another, you're finding a new job in your new area of residence. Frictional unemployment. So even in the best of times, there are going to be people like this. There's always people, for whatever reason, changing jobs, changing where they live, changing their lifestyle, altering things. As a society, we're not really concerned about these people. They chose to move from one area to another, right? They chose to move from one type of job to another. They chose to move with their spouse. And so, in a sense, this sort of unemployment is voluntary. What sort of solutions could we imagine to this sort of problem? Well, it's really about information. This is what's called a matching problem. You've got skills. You could be a great employee somewhere. There's an employer who needs someone just like you with your skills. You just need to get these 2 together. You need to get the worker and the employer together so that they can say, you're hired. So, solution to frictional unemployment is really about making information flow faster. Now, in the bad old days, pre-internet, right, you used to have to show up at a board downtown at the welfare agency, and typically there was a board with a big posting, all these pieces of paper, which essentially listed jobs. Or you might look through the jobs wanted ad every day. Nowadays, of course, you can just go onto websites and find this information a lot quicker. So we should imagine the internet, in a sense, is helping provide this better information. The internet is great at matching, right? Whether it's Craigslist or eBay or Amazon, that's what the internet does. It allows information to flow faster and people get matched up quicker. As I said, we're not really concerned about frictionally unemployed people. What would be the solution for frictional unemployment, if we could imagine one? Okay, there's another one called cyclical unemployment, and this is related to what concept we were talking about last week about the business cycle. You're unemployed because of the business cycle. What we're basically saying is that people are out of work because the economy is temporarily in a recession. Right? And these people are going to get rehired again when the economy comes out of the recession. So they're temporarily unemployed while the economy goes through whatever change is going through at the moment. So we might imagine that this sort of unemployment isn't going to last terribly long, just till the recession ends. This number could be there could be a large number of people, like in the US, that are unemployed because the economy is going through rough times. Or it could be zero, which is what we'll label later full employment. Or it, in a sense, could be negative. In a great big boom like Australia probably had 4 or 5 years ago, this cyclical unemployment was probably negative in the sense that the economy was above the sort of long-term expected level of GDP we could support. And so so more people employed than probably could be held in the long term. As a society, do we care about these people? Well, yes. They're unemployed, and it's not their choice that they're unemployed. They were made unemployed because people stopped buying cars because the economy is doing poorly. Right? And to make cars, Ford needs to buy brakes, and you worked for the brake manufacturer. So when Ford stopped buying your brakes, you lost your job. We might imagine that when the economy picks up again, people might start buying Fords again, and Ford will need those brakes. So those people hopefully will get rehired. So the solution, of course, here is, well, just don't fix the symptom, fix the problem. The problem is that the economy is in a recession. If we fix the recession, these people should get rehired. Right? So a long-term fix would be to try to make sure that future recessions don't happen or aren't as severe.